Hi guys, so the final video of the Six Nations wrapping up the final game, and it shouldn't take too long because Woeful Wales against the mighty English at Twickenham. I refuse to call it Allianz. Twickenham is one of the iconic stadiums, just like the Millennium Stadium is in Wales, the Principality as it is now. This will probably be the shortest video, and maybe not because there's so many tries to look at, but England just showed what a mighty force they are, and they lay down a marker for everybody else. Wales were shocking, really bad. And you have to fail for them sometimes. But when they were winning and they were on the up, they were quite cocky and arrogant. So don't know if I have much sympathy for them. Um, yeah, men against boys is what I heard the commentators saying, and how right they were. England just never really had to get out of second gear, and they were much better. Henry Arundel, take a bow. I don't even think it was his best performance, and yet he walked in three tries. He didn't have to be at his best. He showed what he's capable of. 12 tries in 9 games. Very impressive. And he's a winger scoring tries. Tom Roebuck didn't even have his most impressive game. And what a great player he is. Tommy Freeman as well. Freeman, with some very powerful carries in the middle. Do think his best position is right wing, but when you have him and Tom Roebuck, I think you need to play both of them because they're that good. Fraser Dingwall's kind of like he's the unsung hero of the team, I think, because he just keeps operating as a distributor and a defender. So you don't really notice him as much. Tommy Freeman hits the lines at such pace and strength, and he scored in every round of last year's Six Nations, and he's done it again. So he's doing very well. He manages to be consistent always. We're going to go through it now with you. This will be the final round, anyway. Sorry, the final video. Just go back to this. So highlighted now from the Guinness Six Nations. That man pictured there, Dewi Lake, did not have his finest performance. So I'll just pause it for a second. So Dewi Lake was the captain, the hooker, and he's moved. I think he's gone to Gloucester, has he? Really good player, but he did not cover himself in glory in that game. Constantly mouthed it off to this man, Pierre Brousset, and I feel like that's why he had very little sympathy for him. He didn't build up a good rapport with them. And they talk about Caelan Doris not building a good rapport with the referees. Dewi Lake did not help himself. One yellow card was given, and straight after another one, and you think that's a bit harsh, especially when I highlighted England against Ireland last year. England were very cynical. A lot of people were saying Ireland got the rub of the green. And what I was saying was they were off their feet, they were offside every ruck, they were diving in over the ruck, and they got away with a lot. And they didn't get 2 yellow cards because they'd already gotten one. So referees tend to look at it and go, I've already given you a yellow card, I'll give you a warning. And they kind of have a bit of sympathy for the team. They say, I've already given you 1 yellow card, so it's a bit harsh to give you one straight after. But Pierre Brousset was not fucking around. He went straight to his pocket and gave Dewi Lake another one, which just created more space because England's pack was absolutely dominant against a very shell-shocked Welsh team. And then they just lost their captain as well. 4 yellow cards for Wales. Not very impressive, really bad. The discipline was shocking all game. And as they say, their captain mouthed it off and moaned to the ref. Really doesn't help the case. I did think, though, that Louis Rees-Zammit made a good point to the ref, Pierre Brousset, when he said, why are England allowed to have a meeting? Why can Jamie George have a word with his team when Wales were on the attack and want to speed things up? When England were on the attack, conversely, Brousset was like, no team talk. Let's get to the line out. Let's get to the scrum. Jamie George, though, if you hear how he speaks to the ref, he's very respectful. When Eskenge got away with that headbutt, in my opinion, I know it was a penalty. He should have gotten more, especially when you look at Jasper Wiese's headbutt against Italy. I think it was against Danilo Fischetti. But the motion of the head goes towards the player. And I want your guys' opinion on this. Should the fact that there was intent in what Genge did count against him? I think yes. How he got away without even a yellow is beyond me. But I'll give credit to Jamie George, who was very respectful. Now, he couldn't have argued with the boy. He said, So that's for a headbutt by Ellis Genge. Okay, no problem. Yeah, and he's very respectful, very mannerly. I said how I liked him as a captain. I didn't like Itaoje as captain for the Lions. I thought Jamie George is a much better captain and a leader. But my condolences to Itaoje all the same. He's been through a rough week. And to top it all off, he got sent off as soon as he came on, just like George Turner. Although I think Itaoje was literally only on the field and then he got sent back off. But I just didn't like him as a captain. I feel like, yeah, might be a good player, but as a captain, he can be arrogant, and Jamie George is very level headed, very respectful to the referee. And I think because of that, when he said, okay, because Pierre Bruce just said, your players are giving away too many penalties. Okay, sir, sorry about that. Can I have a word with them? Basically saying they're ill disciplined, so can I have a quick word with them? And he's like, yes, of course. And then we read Salmon was coming up saying, we didn't get a chance to have a word, when England were on the attack. So why are you giving them a chance? I do think, that's kind of a fair point, but you've kind of set a bad tone to the ref. And Dewi Lake started that off, and he's the captain. He should be leading by example. And then making a stupid mistake, not tapping the penalty. So you have to tap the ball off your foot, give a little kick, then pick it up. He didn't touch it with his foot at all, And Wales were only on the 5 meter line. Certain try almost because they were going through phase after phase. Just stupid mistakes. And he's the leader, he's the one you need to be stepping up and saying, I'm here to lead and I'm going to set the tone for the Welsh team. They're just in complete disarray right now, and it showed. George Ford was pretty good off the tee, I don't think he's England's best fly half, but he knows how to manage a game well, and when things are going well for England, he certainly gets them firing. Tactically, he's quite a good kicker, and not the best defender, but you kind of let him away with that because he's a fly half after all. He missed 2 conversions, so my fly half of the week would be Matthew Jalibert, who wasn't kicking off the tee, but just thought with ball in hand he was better. But George Ford, fairness to him, he got the England back line firing. He was very good. He got them going every time he got the ball. He kicked very well, and in fairness, you know what you're going to get with him. But his game management was perfect, and a lot of people are saying the British and Irish Lions tour was the best thing for George Ford's career for England because while other England players like Finn Smith and Marcus Smith were away on the British and Irish Lions tour, this man was leading the England team. And in fairness to him, you got to give him credit. He would have been good at that. He missed out on the British and Irish Lions selection, but he stepped up big time. He put his hand up and said, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to start for England, and did a very good job. Speaking of fly halves, I like the look of Dan Edwards. If you see him in the background, he's very good. I felt bad for him because you could see when he got the ball in hand how good he is, but he just didn't get it that often. He's a good player. Alex Mann needs to learn to stop winding people up, especially people bigger than him because he's going to get his arse handed to him. I do feel like Genge was lucky though because he went for him and put the forehead into Alex Mann's face. He's obviously a wind up merchant because Ebenezer went with the thumb in the eye. Very dirty, but Mann's obviously a wind up merchant. Man, oh man. But yeah, England never looked in doubt for this victory. They were solid all game, and Wales conversely were shocking. So Ford taking 1 kick. He took them all day. So really good range of passing by Alex Mitchell as well. So he really got them firing. And this was a familiar picture the whole game. England on the Welsh line, attacking all game. Ben Earl as well. Had a really good game. Attacking wise, I've noticed that he's not the best defender. He slipped off, I counted 3 tackles. As good as he is in attack, and he's very good in attack, he also gets a couple of jackal turnovers. He can be quite weak in the tackle, though, which is unusual considering the type of athlete that he is. But Ireland could look at that. Guy Pepper and Sam Underhill were certainly the better tacklers in the back row. I'm surprised at how little turnovers England got in that game, but I guess you can hardly get turnovers when you have the ball the whole game. And Wales coughed up possession easily. This man, Joe Hayes, was dominant at tight head. Yeah, this man, Nicky Smith, eating out the palm of his hand the whole game. You had him in his back pocket, whatever phrase you want to use. I used too many. And also a lovely little jump from Joe Hayes. Did anyone see that in the lineup? Son of John. All good tight heads have the Hayes surname, except he spells it with two E's, not an A. But anyway, getting to this analysis, they've sucked in. Look at how many Welsh players are here. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, all here in a tight, condensed area. That's Ellis Mee, the right winger. And then Alex Mitchell fires the pass out. And then Guy Pepper takes it up. And then three players having to be sucked in just because of the physicality of England, you know. And they're very good with their physical game. Thomas Williams gets isolated out here and they just keep going really fast. You could say that Steve Borthwick's tactics have been boring, but he's gotten the basics and the fundamental skills in England. Now he's got the athletes to implement a good game plan. And they have some really good athletes, in fairness. So look at that carry, really forceful, where Guy Pepper takes it and his team are up his arse driving him as well the whole time. So look at that carry again, where he takes it and he just powers into these players. Gets to the try line. They're nearly over the try line. Wales are in complete disarray. And then that's a prop, Reece Carey, I think, at this stage, defending out on the wing. No, sorry, it's Archie Griffin. I was thinking Wales didn't have any yellow cards here. No, Archie Griffin. Very hard to defend constantly when you're on your own try line. And yeah, this ball goes across, easily finished. Really good pass though by Alex Mitchell. It's a very hard skill to whip that pass across three players. But like I was talking about with Ireland, you don't want your big men having to defend out wide. Nicky Smith, loose head prop. Then you've got David Jenkins, your second rower. And then you've got Archie Griffin, your tight head prop. Two front rowers and a second row defending out wide. Not where you want to end up. But at this stage, it's just damage limitations. And then ball goes out here. George Ford, who whips it across, and Henry Arundel goes in for his first try. And Tom Roebuck here and Tommy Freeman holding a really good line, and Arundel walks it in. Anyone could have finished here. But he finishes it very well. On a plate for him. That's the main skill of a winger, is to finish, you know, and we look at who scored the tries for each nation, right? So France, three of their tries came from wingers, right? For Italy, one try came from a winger. All right. This is something I'm going to keep harping on about because our forwards keep scoring our tries. We need our wingers to be doing it, you know? So let's go through it again. Three tries by wingers for France, four tries by their backs in general, okay? For Italy, two backs got their tries. One of them was Louis Lina, the right winger. Scotland, George Horn, a back. Then for England, Henry Arundel got a hat trick, three tries, and Tom Roebuck got one. Tommy Freeman went back and got one as well. So that's technically five tries by wingers, right? And Josh Adams scored for Wales. Their only try was scored by their winger. Both our tries were scored by a replacement loose-head prop and back rower. Like, how little creativity do we have? And actually, when we see the Welsh try, which I'll show you, there was a lot of good creativity involved, as poor as Wales were. So this is a good example. Rugby is a simple game, right? You crash the ball into men, you try and suck in as many defenders as you can. With your powerful carries, you hit the ball at pace. You know, you hit the line at pace, you carry hard, and you try and suck in as many defenders as you can, which creates gaps. The quicker you get the ball back to your teammates, then the more the opposition are backpedaling, and then the more space appears for you. England showed that very well here. So they get them all going, which Wales defend quite well. And then the ball comes back to Alex Mitchell, who hits his back line. And now they're all running onto that at pace. They're hitting at a pace, and then as a result, they get over the game line, which creates space and has Wales in disarray. So this is really good by Fraser Dingwall, and this is the unappreciated stuff that he does. He hits Tommy Freeman with the pass here, and it's quick. Remember I talked about Sam Prendergast juggling with the ball and being way too slow, distributing it out wide. This is exactly what you want. Long pass. That's not an easy pass by Alex Mitchell. I know he's a scrum half, but it's still a difficult skill to pull off. Gets it to Fraser Dingwall, who hits Tommy Freeman, who bashes it up this channel, and they get over the game line. Really good pass here, and Freeman takes two defenders out. And then look at Dingwall, the work from him to actually get in there and drive his teammate forward. So if we look where England start this attack, sorry, got a bit of, yep, we're all good. Let's go back here. So they're just at the 5 metre. They throw up to Dingwall. He takes it up. And then Freeman crashes it perfectly. But Dingwall doesn't just sit back and watch. He gets in, he drives his teammate forward. Look at that. And now Wales all backpedaling, all have to get onside. England have them at sixes and sevens. Sixes and sevens. Of course, I just keep doing it without even trying. And then look who's defending again. You've got Aaron Wainwright, Dewi Lake. So that's a hooker and a number 8. Nicky Smith, your loose head prop. Archie Griffin, your tight end prop. Now, I know they're just coming from a maul, but it's not the ideal scenario to be in. So we play it on here. Really good pass, really great width, and very good finish. Look at all that space to walk it in. Very easy. A good kick. This is the picture that I saw the whole game. Dewi Lake just moaning and complaining to Pierre Brousset, not helping his cause. Did seem a bit harsh to send 2 men off in quick succession, but he's complaining, he's not listening, he's mouthing off, and Brousset has no patience for him. Nicky Smith goes, and then Dewi Lake gets sent off straight after. See, the hands are up. He's not portraying good body language to the ref. Really not helping his cause, and off he goes. Like, look at that. Only 9 minutes and 20, so only 40 seconds. 40 seconds from when Nicky Smith was sent off. Dewi Lake gets sent off as well. That's your captain. He should be setting a better example. Not good. And that's the common picture there. That left elbow from the replacement Luke said, which was Reese Carey. That's right, yeah. Not a great scrummager for such a big man. You'd think he'd be painting a better picture. Joe Hayes is a big man, but that pressure comes on. Reese Carey just doesn't hold at all. You see here, like when I just highlighted that elbow right there, not a good picture to the ref. And that was the constant picture. So Pierre Brousset is only happy to penalise him for it. Once that elbow's down, they go quick, they hit the space, they get over the game line, and once they do that, they're in for another score. Dingwall takes it up this time instead of passing it. Look how many Welsh players are condensed in a tight area. Ellis May, your right winger, who should be holding your width. He's there. Thomas Williams is there. Aaron Wainwright is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, all within a tight, condensed space, and England just do the rest. And then a really good kick here by George Ford. Wales are down to 13. There's loads of space out here. And really, Anyone could finish. George Ford could take it into the space here, be greedy, but he always picks the sensible option in fairness, and it's a very good kick, very well executed. Instead of throwing the pass, he just kicks it across. And then here we are. Arundel does the rest. So look at that. They've got Wales completely bunched in. Bear in mind they're down to 13 men at this stage, but then they've three men here waiting to attack. They've just come from a scrum. Look how bunched Wales are. Like, in fairness, you had to finish. Ford could have squared up there. He could have even hit the line himself, or he could have taken the ball in, hit Freddie Stewart, and Freddie Stewart could have gone out to Arundel. But no, sensible option. That's a really difficult picture for Wales to defend. George Ford could take it to the line, dummy, and then go himself, but he picks the smart option. And then look at all that space. Any self-respecting winger's got to finish that. Good take, good finish. So easy. Yeah. Ellis May and Thomas Williams, just no chance. Thing I like as well with England is changing up the point of attack. Sorry, one sec. What's going on here? Hold on there. Nope. It's all good. Thing keeps jumping the cursor. Pardon me. One sec there. Don't know why. Just want to go back. Now, play. So just look at it here. So they're on the right hand touchline. And then Guy Pepper puts it back in for Sam Underhill really well. So good pass, just changing up the point of attack. Underhill gets the ball here. They draw in as many defenders as they can. You see Belcher, Reese Carey, and Aaron Wainwright, who's back on his heels right there. So not a great position by him, but England do this very cleverly. That's actually pretty good. Tackles by them. Not too bad now, but England just exploit the space perfectly. Good ball presentation as well, so it's quick ball always for England. And look at that, they've created an overlap. Now, bear in mind again that England have 15, Wales only have 13. So even with good defending, they can't defend all the space. And because of Wales' poor discipline, England end up with a. Geez, so that's, yeah, it's a 6-on-3. You've got to finish. What's Joe Hayes doing in the background, though? Look where he is. He's everywhere. So I'll play it on. Come on. That's Fraser Dingwall now getting on it. Sorry, one sec. This fucking cursor is annoying me. And I'm cursing. And now Freddie Stewart gives it out to Ben Earl, who holds his width very well, has to be said. There's Arundel, who's worked infield. Ben Earl just knows to be in the right place at the right time. He's got pace and he just hits that line perfectly and finishes off very well. Even though Ellis May gets him, he's not stopping him. Thumbs up, friend. Tommy Freeman makes a strong carry and they get over the gain line and they just flood the open side. They've got so many options. Really, anyone could score at this stage, you know. Ben Earl holds the width well, and Joe Hayes does as well, to be fair. Takes over the position of Henry Arundel. Just look at that picture. Like Wales, even though they're down 13, they've defended all right, but they just can't contain the flood of English players that is coming in. And eventually, England just punished them. So it's really good hands. Dingwall gets the ball again, goes as a second receiver. So I think that's what we could maybe do with Prendergast and Jack Crowley. But then Dingwall hits Freddie Stewart really well, who then puts the ball out to Ben Earl, who's hitting that space at pace. And he's got the power as well, tucks it in under the left arm. And I know it's his preferred ball carrying arm, but it's the right decision because it means he can finish and he scores. But look at the options. Joe Hayes, in fairness, you don't want him getting that pass. You want the goal to Freddie Stewart. But he gets it, and it's just simple catch pass. There's so many options for England, and they're always getting wild second guessing. And then really good range of passing by Stewart. He's not just a big lump. Gives it across, and Ben Arrow does the rest. And even though me gets him, and it's me, and not me, he still has the power just to go in and finish. It's a good leg drive. Yeah, too much power. Difficult kick, in fairness. And he gets it. So this time Wales actually gets some go forward. And then this is something I really didn't like. And a few commentators were saying it's a poor pass by Ben Thomas, but look how Louis Rees Salmon just goes, oh, and stops. The game is still live. You got to keep playing. And Arundel gets his hat trick, just picks it up, says, thank you very much. I'll score. Yeah, I think George Ford picked it up actually and passed it to him. This man, though, has to have better discipline. Like, he's the one with his shiny turkey teeth and, the fancy contract in the US. He should be leading the way, and he did have some good moments, but this was not one of them. So, show that again. Fucking. So they go quick. He should be leading and setting the tone in the back line, especially. So when the ball doesn't go to him, why is it not pausing? Arundel runs it in. See how Louis Rees stops and goes, instead of playing on. Now, if he turns, he's lightning quick. He could get back and do something about that. They're too slow to react here. And it's poor by Rees as well. Really poor attitude to do this. He should be leading the tone, setting the example. George Ford picks it up faster, reacts quicker, and then Arundel gets his hat trick. Good play though by George Ford. And he's too much pace. Very poor attitude by Rees Sammet though. George Ford does the rest. Now you see it again. Just more clever play by England. Wales again are bunched. They have to, and at this stage they have 15 men back on the field. But look how condensed they are. Ellis Mead, a right winger, he's well in, way past the left hand goalpost. He should be out to the right hand side of the right hand goalpost. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players all condensed heavily. And the England backs just do the rest. Tom Roebuck takes up a really good hit off his right wing, and then he scores the try eventually. Really good line. So look at that. He's being put into the space and he hits it at 1,000 miles an hour. Don't know what's happening with my cursor. 1 second there, please. There we are. We're good. And go. And then again, England have Wales on the back foot. Reece Sammett's out there defending wide, and yeah, England just finished smartly. Another infringement by Wales. George Ford again has look how many options he has. Bevan Rod and Joe Hayes probably could go over from there, to be honest. They're really hitting a good line. Oh, fuck. Sorry, this is really annoying me now. Screen, it's not playing ball. Mad muscles, I don't want mad muscles. No, not interested. All these ads keep popping up on YouTube. I don't care about Tai Chi. There we are, we're back. All these Tai Chi things keep popping up, and it's really annoying me now. Roebuck scores eventually a really good play. So we go back. Look how they suck Wales in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players all sucked in there. And then Wales, they're their own worst enemy at this point. Good play by Mitchell. Great passing from Mitchell to George Ford and Fraser Dingwall, who were great distributors. And then anyone really could score. Ford hits it. And then just look at that. One man against four. Take your pick. Anyone could score that try. He could go across. And actually, there's five. Yeah, five men out there waiting to score. It's all too easy. And all bar one player, 14 men are all the wrong side of the left hand goalpost. They're all to the right side of the left hand goalpost for Wales. There's only one man out there defending on his own, and it's not good enough. And they get undone. Simple pass, and then Roebuck gets a deserved try after a really good carry. You had to score. That's the thing with England. So we look at it. So let's look at it here. Just the amount of handling options. There's always a different option. You're always keeping the defence guessing. Really good pass, then an out the back pass. Then Roebuck hits a great line and attacks the space. Show now. And then look how Ford takes this to the line and puts Roebuck into a cap, which he hits brilliantly. Good tackle. The Wales are backpedaling, and they're all way too attracted to the ruck, which is their downfall. Dingwall again, holding the ball just to the right moment. And then anyone could score. It's far too easy. England walked in the tries. Yeah, he was only just on and he got sent off. An unfortunate day at the office for him. I sped up the thing by accident there. A French accent sped up was very funny. Play it on now. Some good face play by Wales. They suck in all the England defenders. England are now down to 14 for a change. How do you like them apples? Thomas Williams gets the ball out. Really good range of passing. And then Dan Edwards, really good kick. He could hit that space, get the try himself, and make it an easier kick for himself. But he does the sensible thing, and they get the try. Josh Adams, really good kick here, and puts it into that space. Kind of like a carbon copy of George Ford's kick for Henry Arundel's second try. Very well done. He's a good player, is Dan James. Or Dan Edwards, sorry. and Adams finishes very well. That's just the thing, though. Wales are showing us how it's done. They were very poor. That's as poor Welsh performances I've seen in my lifetime. And I remember the days of Jonathan Davis, Jamie Roberts, George North, Alex Cuthbert, Lee Halfpenny, Sam Warburton, Dan Lydiate, Talupe Falatau, Alan Wynne Jones, all the rest, you name it. When Wales were the top team, like the team to beat, they went back to back Grand Slams. That was one hell of a Welsh team. And I remember the glory days of Welsh rugby as well in the Magners League when the Ospreys were the best team, you know. So Welsh rugby as well and truly fallen off a cliff. And yet they're still showing us that the back score tries through nice pieces of passing. Thomas Williams has thrown the ball from over here all the way back to Dan Edwards and really good execution. We should be able to come up with stuff like this. Our creativity is just non existent at the minute. But a really well finished try by Wales. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Suck the English defence in. Really good range of pass and skips out five men. Really good pass. Very well worked. Waits and then finishes. Very well done. And a very good kick as well from the touchline. Whatever he had to do, Dan Edwards, he did very well. And then England once again just going through the phases, being patient, which they were all game, and getting their just desserts. So Trevor Davison, a big man, in fairness, that's what you want to see carried into the space. I think this might be Ben Thomas's yellow card. Tom Curry as well, you could say, got away with one because I thought he was very lucky not to get a yellow for a late. Or sorry, he got a yellow. I thought maybe it could have been upgraded because he shoulder charged Harry Eves off the ball. Harry Deves, isn't it? Just dropped the shoulder into him completely off the ball. Real cheap shot, and thought he was lucky to get away with that one. Now it was quite dirty. Yeah, that's the yellow card for Ben Thomas. Not a good day at the office. That was the third one. Foolish. And now England again going through the phases, just being patient. That's the thing, they were very patient all game. Another carry. Luke Cowan-Dickey smashing it up. Evan Ross, then George Ford takes it in. Good power. And then I was really happy to see the smirk wiped off this fella's face, but what on earth was Tane Plumtree doing? Really illegal. I thought he was lucky not to have a further sanction because that was quite a deliberate forearm to the head. I know you want to do it, but you've got to hold back. Lots of people want to do that to Henry Pollock, but you've got to have better discipline. Oh, said he should have just dived for the line. Yeah, like look where he makes head contact. Thought he was very lucky not to have that upgraded to a 20-minute red. Because it was foul play, it was a penalty try and the yellow card, so that's what they said. But yeah, he got lucky, I think, in many ways. They got a penalty try anyway. So, sorry, I'm just going to go back. Paused for a second. And Tommy Freeman got his deserved try, in fairness. Penalty try. Harry Daves, yeah. He got very lucky. This was the final try and the nail in the coffin, really. A deserved try by Tommy Freeman, who moved to the right wing. And just look at the power here by Tommy Freeman. Like, he shouldn't get over from here. It's very poor Welsh defence, but he just powers through the tackles and then gets over. Sorry, this thing's really annoying me. Play ball. Play ball. There we are. There we are. Yeah, too powerful, too strong. And he made more carry meters than everybody else. Good play by Luke Cowan-Dickey. He shouldn't get over from there. It's far too easy. Three players can't stop him. But he is a strong man. Look at it from here. Yeah, he shrugs off Kieran Hardy and Josh Adams, and then he has the strength to just power through Harry Daves and get it down. Good finish and a deserved try for him, though. So unlucky to miss that one at the end. So, anyway, that wraps up our Six Nations coverage. My cursor is acting up. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. England looks strong. France looks strong. Both teams very comfortable. The worrying thing for me as an Ireland fan is that you would think that as an Irish team, we were in a better place than Wales. But we lack creativity. We're quite slow around the field, not overly creative in the back line. And once our system once there's any sort of spanner in the works, we seem to be out of ideas. We're not very good at playing heads up rugby. We're very much based on that private school system, and it's costing us at the top level because once there's a spanner in the works, we don't know what to do. And England just showed that they have a simple game plan. Loads of people looking like they can get the ball, but they can also just go to a default, which is crash the thing up if you have to kick the ball. The game plan won't always work, but you need to have a skill set that you can always apply if it doesn't work. And we just don't have that in Ireland, and we're not doing anything about it. Run with the ball. If you're smaller than the opposition, which 9 times out of 10 we are, tire them out, keep moving it, kick the ball, get them moving, get them turning, but you have to win the ball back. England and France have shown that with a big pack that gets you go forward ball, doing the hard work, and then the back line actually doing what they're supposed to, which our back line never seemed to do. Finish off the tries after the big men have sucked in all the defenders. In Ireland, I don't know what we're doing, but we're certainly not playing good rugby at the minute, and our forwards are bailing us out. They can't be that bad if they're scoring all our tries. It's our back line, I think, that aren't working hard enough and aren't putting in enough of an effort. We need them to step it up. All the tries, bar one for England, were scored by their backs. They got a lot of tries. Wales only got one try and scored by a back. Both of Italy's were by backs. Scotland got two. One of them was by a back, and one of them was by a forward. With France, they got five against us. That's right, five. And only one of them was by a forward. The other four were by their backs. So Ireland are just an anomaly because the forwards are getting all the tries, doing all the defending, the hard yards. The back line need to step up. They're not good enough, and it's going to cost us. But we'll see. I'll be interested to see how we get on against Italy. I don't think it's going to be a walkover. France and England are the sides to beat after this round Six Nations. I hope you enjoyed this analysis, guys. Let me know if you'd like more. Been a really interesting opening round. Disappointed, big victories, especially for France and for England. But Italy, really good start for them. Very impressive. And they certainly won't be any pushovers when we play them. in the Aviva, Lansdowne Road. But yeah, it'll show us what kind of level we're at as well. At home against Italy, we should get a bonus point win in that game, but whether we will, I don't know. So that's it anyway, guys. Hope you enjoyed the opening round Six Nations. I certainly did, but it's disappointing if you're an Irish fan. But we'll see how we get on anyway next round. So it's long to fall. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.